Well, as Paul was saying, my name is Maite Carli. I'm the Communications Manager at the Industrial Cybersecurity Centre, and also Coordinator for the European region. So today's session, I would like to talk you through for a couple of our platforms, but before any further explanation, I would like to introduce you to the Industrial Cybersecurity Centre for those that who doesn't know us. The Industrial Cybersecurity Centre is a non-profit association based in Spain, originally created in 2013, and now with more than 8,000 members throughout the whole world, mainly in Latin America and Spain, but also in some regions in Europe. And we have an ecosystem of resources that we work along with some a team of experts and coordinators at the regional levels. And with that help of this multidisciplinary group of professionals, we developed several resources for the industry and professionals in the cybersecurity OT part to help them to improve the level of resilience in the different sectors. And today, as part of our ecosystem, I would like to present to you two of the main resources that we have and we're trying to promote due to the help that these tools provide to professionals of diverse sectors. We also have training, publications, specific publications that they help. And we try to focus on a sectorial approach, and that's what we've been working throughout the last few years. Also, our association works along with other associations in order to improve the ecosystem, and we have been also linked to other associations in Europe and in Latin America, as I said, to create this great network of professionals in industrial cybersecurity and also resources for you guys. So today's platform are going to be mainly RECIN and ESCIM, which are two of the main platforms for high impact scenarios, and that's what we are going to show you today. As I was saying, in some of the scenarios that we are going to present, or I'm going to present in this case, we have to have in consideration the differences in the industry that we are assessing or we want to implement cybersecurity. So there are different processes, different threats, and we have to adapt to them. The level of maturity of each sector, also the threats are not the same for all of them. And today we are going to focus on the threats for the manufacturing sector. And in this case, I would like to highlight a few of those just to give a glance, a bit of an introduction before we go on to the step of the scenario reporting. So in this particular case, the specific of cybersecurity challenges in the specific sector of manufacturing, well, we can find legacy systems with limited security. I think this is shared in all these sectors as well, but it's one very complex in manufacturing. The convergence of IT and OT as well is a very high and problematic. The availability requirements, lack of cyber awareness in OT teams, complex supply chain, and in some cases, depending on the manufacturing type that we are assessing, the complexity is huge. Unlimited network segmentation. We are looking at, in this particular sector, we see a lot of flat network architectures, and that is a huge problem in terms of how an attack can access and spread throughout our OT area. And also the difficulty in testing security measures when our processes is 24/7. This is a real challenge, as well as some of the patching and so on in these environments. So before I go into the platform, CCI developed a platform called ESCIM. Is being developed with, as I said, with a group of professionals. My colleague Claudio Caracciolo was able to put it together with all the ideas and have this amazing platform to help you in characterize high impact scenarios in industrial systems. So what this platform will allow you to do is to enable to conduct global cyber exercise, to review the controls, to anticipate potential risks or incidents. Okay, and I'm going to talk you through all the processes. This will be the look of the platform. These are just some of the examples that I have in my profile, but I will talk you through to the first one in the role play of high impact industrial cyber incident. One of the peculiarities of this platform is that we have the ability to public these scenarios. So one of our main message in CCI, in the Industrial Cybersecurity Center, is to share knowledge amongst ourselves. And it's a bit of what is happening today, has been happening throughout the whole day, sharing knowledge, useful information, and this is why we like to, we are thankful to be able to present this to you here today. So the platform allows you to public these scenarios or keep them, in private, so you don't have to share them. But it is a possibility, and we have some scenarios already available for you to see. The idea is to have this characterization of incidents, but specifically for different sectors. So today's ones I'm going to present is in the food industry, but it could be related to any other sector that you want to apply to. So from this instance, we will click on the newest scenario and we will start the process in ESCIM. One of the main things that we have to do before reporting a scenario, an incident, a cyber incident, is to have had a previous work done in our OT plant, and that is to identify the assets that we have throughout the network. So that how we do that? Well, CCI also thought in that, and we developed the platform RECIN. This is a platform where you can upload, identify your zones and conduits and see how they communicate. So that is, for example, what sort of assets do we have in the IT part? What assets do we have? Do we have in the OT part, and then how they communicate. We identify those, and then we can kind of see the full architecture, and also it gives us zone by zone and the conduits, if they comply or not with the standard, the industrial standard IEC 62443, in this case the 3/3. Once we have done that previous work of identifying our network, we can save it and upload it into a theme, this one that I'm presenting to you today. And this would give us in this platform in the theme, where we have our architecture, we can identify the zones that have been compromised or they have been impacted in this scenario. So we will have to start by having some main data of our scenario. In this case, we call it Lactayon, but it could be any other name that you want to call it to your scenario. We identify the sector and the type, in this case, a mixing treatment automation. And then we will upload this architecture, we import this architecture from the other platform so we can have it there. But also it's not necessary if you have already done that part of the job elsewhere. For example, if you have, I don't know, an asset inventory in an Excel, you can upload it and we can see it there. So if we continue throughout how we will report this scenario, how an incident should be and this exercise should be done, we will have to provide some information. As previously I was doing in my introduction, we will have to give out some information about how the percentage of production respect to each sector, so that gives us a glance if it's a big or a small sector. Well, I haven't mentioned it, but before, when we select the sector, they will have the type of scenarios available for that sector. So we identify those with these professionals that already have experience in each individual specific sector. So, for example, in the food, we will see that we can have a scenario for packaging line automation, mixing treatment, intrusion, warehouse automation, or even others. We could change these type of scenarios. We could add new ones. If you want to provide us with more information, that's fine. We will have that information added onto the platform. Also, very important, we have to have a scenario description where we say a little bit of what we do, what is our company, and we give extra information. There is the space for that, and also the technological maturity level of the company, and if we are looking at a small, medium size, or big company. Okay. Moving forward, as I was mentioning, we will upload now our architecture at this stage, and we can see our zones and conduits, how these different zones they are interconnected, how they communicate, and we can see with the C in the blue lines in the blue boxes, if it's the zone that has been compromised or it has been the zone where it has been impacted in this scenario. Also, this architecture, I mean, is a small example, but you could add more zones and conduit depending on your personal architecture. Something that has to be mentioned is no real information should be added onto the platform. As we know, security, there is not 100% security, so we use these platforms to do this exercise. We don't put real IPs or real name of the assets, okay? So we just identify the type of assets that we are implementing in the architecture and how they communicate through a firewall or a switch and so on. Okay, so when we move forward, something that I was mentioning before is how we can do this scenario public. This is essential in sharing the information. I will be mentioning throughout the whole presentation, because it's truly where we can benefit. We can all benefit by sharing the information, because there are different scenarios, and they don't have to be real scenarios, but of course they could be without the specific information. We will be able to share it and gain from others' experiences. The platform allows you to identify the management profiles. Also, if I had, for example, another scenario done previously, I don't have to upload all the information again. We often see that when reporting an incident or having other information that we have to add on to the incident is a lot of paperwork, a lot of protocols that we have to follow, and why not reusing it to do these exercises? Okay, so you could add that on your own characterization there, so you don't have to create each time for each scenario a new scenario. Okay, so the next step is we're going on to the selected characterization. In this case, it's the supply chain attack. And we will give some information about this supply chain attack. So then we will put a name and a description. In this case, it's described that during the night shift, the operations team detected simultaneous anomalies in various industrial subsystems related to the water quality control, the pasteurization, and environmental emissions. The impact represents a potential cybersecurity incident with health, economic, and other consequences. That you can see there, there is a red button that says set this characterization as public to others. That is the stage where you can say if you wanted to make it public within the platform for the users to be able to access it and learn from that lesson, or not. You can untick that and it keeps it just in your profile. Another important fact that we should be putting in our scenario, in our exercise, is the origin type. If it's an internal, external, both, supply chain. Throughout the morning, I heard other colleagues mentioning that often these cyber incidents, they are not intentional necessarily. It could be someone internally or a provider that comes with a present, but it's a present that could cause a lot of damage in our processes. Therefore, we should be analyzing how we could do better and this platform allows us to do that, those exercises in order to improve our cybersecurity and resilience towards any possible incidents. And how we do that, we need to practice, and this is a good way to do it. So if we move forward onto the next part of this incident reporting, we will indicate the threat supply chains. If in this case has been compromised, secondly, a non-critical supplier, but it could have been a primary or more critical supplier depending on the case. And when we indicate what type of incident it is. In this case, we have the option delivery, accidental, or unknown, because not always we have all the information. In this case, we have selected it was deliberate. We will see in the next stages why. So once we click deliberate, it gives us as well the option to give the incident hazard levels based on the NIST regulation. We all know that part of the NIST regulation is to report now these incidents in a certain time and manner. And this platform is also a good exercise to know how we could comply with the NIST 2 regulation in order to report these incidents. So this is a good exercise altogether. Here you can see just an example of what we have selected. In this case, it could be the hazard levels at APT, very high level, consider the interruptions, or high level, in this case, an unknown attack, application engagement, infected system. Well, we will select depending on our scenario. Okay, if we move forward on to the next steps, then we will have to give a description of the business impact of this attack. So the production in this case of defective batches due to the tampering with the batching blending process has an impact, and we don't know, the losses of delivering products to customers and financial losses, and also the technical impact. In this case, we have put a description of the management system, the quality system have been affected, taking several days to identify. Often when we receive an attack, it's not immediately that we detect that. As you can see, we can put the level of impact on operational, patrimonial impact. In this case, is low because we will see later on the steps. Reputational impact is high because we lost the production. Also, legal impact will put is medium. Financial impact is high because it goes along a bit with the reputational impact. We have to stop our plant, therefore the financial impact is considered high, and also the health and environmental impact also we selected high. Based on availability, integrity, and confidentiality is also available there. You have a drop-down menu where you can set it as high, medium, low, and the considerations, the impact based on the NIST regulation. So there you can see the critical impact, very high impact. In this case, if it has the reputational damage that is difficult to repair, or the interruption in service provision has been over an hour. So all these, and the nature of the incident, sorry. So in this case, it's an intrusion attempt, a vulnerability, could be a harmful content, and well, we have others options, but in this case, we selected this for this scenario as part of the exercise. So now we go on to the different phases of the incident. We have identified 5 different phases. I will talk you through all of them. In the first one, we identified the attacker that uses spear phishing to access the machine of IT/OT support provider operator, and from there it connects remotely to our company service that was published through the system that interconnect them. Curiosities of this platform and very useful tool is we can map all our phases, all the stages of this incident with a Maite matrix. We contemplate the enterprise matrix and the ICS purely because the attacks could initiate or come through the IT part, therefore we added the enterprise, and also the ICS. We are not talking about just the industrial part here, is the whole of the network could be compromised. So where this phase initiated, well, in the supply chain was compromised, in this case a third party, and how they did it in the ICS, well, it was an exploitation remotely. But one of the main things that I want to share with you today is that the platform allows you to, in each of the phases, ask questions. Those questions, what allows you to, is to say the level of maturity, or questions that we could ask ourselves, and it's a learned lesson per phase. Always we say in CCI that those who have suffered an incident are those that will have more experience, unfortunately. Well, this hopefully will be able to give you some of the questions. The questions are done by ourselves. We enter the questions. They are not set questions for each phase, but they're learn lessons in each of the phases. So in this case, we ask, for example, what security levels are required of their suppliers? Is this sufficient? Are security audits performed of their suppliers? If the supplier had detected the incident, do you know who to contact within the company to contain it? Often, when things happen, we don't know who to contact or who the person should be communicating to other departments, and sometimes it's as easy as identify the person and have the point of contact, a telephone number, or how I connect to that person to report this. We have seen throughout the years that this has not been done because purely they don't have a responsible person responsible for the cybersecurity aspects of the some of the companies. So this is an important aspect, to have those questions, to think about what we should be doing in each stage. If we go to the phase 2, this is where the attacker executes. Here we can see we have identified in the ICS matrix, again, how we've put a description. A very important fact is that we should be identifying each of the well, stages of each phase with the date and time that these things happened. When we have a command line interface access, the network sniffing, we can see here the process and the dates, how long the process have taken for that attack to happen. In this case, they compromise the SCADA server and controls the temperature of the milk pasteurization process, among other things. But yeah, we put a description of the phase, and we record how long that phase as well have lasted, if we know, of course. Another aspect is the questions. Once again, here are some samples of questions. Due to the lack of timing that we have for the session, we'd like to go deeply into that, but you will have access to this presentation afterwards, and you can have a look at the questions provided for this sample of incident. But we always should be asking in each phase what questions, if are we doing things how we should, what could improve, what lessons we could add that we have learned in each stage, and the communication roles in each stage as well. Who has communicated with who? Because often that is also a challenge amongst departments, and more when there is an incident, and cybersecurity incident in this case. Okay, so the phase 3, in this case, once again, we put a description of the attacker analyzes the thermal management system and makes ceiling changes. We named a few of the changes. Also, we added the starting time of this phase, the third one, selected a phase duration range between 8 and 12 hours. And we identify with the Maite matrix all the stages of this incident, of this phase in this case. But also we have the option of adding injects, that is all these events in the software that has happened, all the events that have happened in this phase. So in this case, some messages that has happened throughout that phase. In this case, the night plan supervisor post following message. You have all that information in the presentation afterwards. The automation technical then posts another message, and so on. And then we can add as many injects in that phase as needed. But I would try. My suggestion is always to keep it simple, straightforward, and all with the logs of when things happen. Okay, this is just an example. Once again. Another one is the guiding questions again for the phase 3. We put here who should be notified first in the event of a critical SCADA anomaly. Can we assume the system is still cleaning correctly without data? Is there a technical relationship between the SIP failure and the posterization system? What is the alert threshold that triggers an emission data review? All those aspects that we should have in consideration, we should be adding them onto each of the phases so we can learn from that. So on the phase 4, once again, we'll repeat the same process. I'll go a bit fast because I know the time is short. Phase 5, then, for example, is a case of what have we done within the incident, who we need to contact. In this case, the company decided to hire another company to advise them on the cybersecurity and threat intelligence, how they should improve that within the organizations. And very important aspect, we complete a communications map of each of the stages. In each of the phases that I'm showing you, we have the internal communication and the external, hence why we have an E in each of the boxes. And here we can have a clear map on all the phases of the incident, who has communicated to whom. And that gives us this final report that I will show you in a second. This is also some of the industrial treatment process and quality, all the impacted zones of the architecture that we previously uploaded from the other platform. And this about the notes learned lessons of this incident. So we will have, the platform will give us the option of have a full report of all the phases that we have been filling in. And in each of the phases, we can add notes on what we have learned. And here you have an example that you can have for this specific scenario. Another option, and the final one for the session, is that you won't have to create a PPT after all that information. The platform does it for you, and you can see in this manner all that information that you have been filling in. You can have the scenario, the sector, all that information, the architecture, the impact, how the incident, the hazard levels according to the current European regulation. Also the compromise zones, the impacted zones, and a very important aspect, once again, the questions. All those questions that I have shown you, they are there for you to follow and to learn from that. And that's it, guys. Sorry that I took all my time. You have a QR code if you would like to access to our website, to our memberships. You have all the information. It's free. You can be a free member if you want to, and you have access to one scenario with all the platforms. You can test them, give us feedback, and especially share the knowledge among other peers. So thank you for your time. I'm all yours, Paul.
All right. Thank you very much, Maite. It was a great presentation.